I'm going to talk about LASIK eye surgery. It is actually an acronym for Laser Assisted In Situ Keratomelusis. Hard word to say. It's actually an acronym for LASIK, and it's a surgical procedure intended to reduce your dependency on glasses or contacts. So if any of you wear glasses or contacts, it would be a great thing to do for yourself. It actually corrects myopia, which is the nearsighted vision, and also hyperopia, which is the far-sighted vision. And it can correct astigmatism, but only up to certain diopters. So if you have less, I think it's less than -2.0, you can actually have it done. I had astigmatism of a -1.25, and I had it done, so it works. The procedure permanently changes the shape of the cornea. So as you can see in my pictures here, I drew the iris and then the cornea is here. This is actually what it's changing. And here you can see where the flap is actually taken down, and that's one of the steps in the process. And it's taken down by using the laser keratome, which is actually where this word comes from. And it's the device to cut the flap of the cornea. It's actually very invasive, if you will. You don't feel it, and it's not very uncomfortable, but it's a lot of stuff going on in your eye, and your eye is so important for you to see every day that it can be a very hard decision to make. So the cost is around $1,500 per eye, and one of the biggest things in doing your research for this is that being cautious of people who say it's $300 an eye or $600 an eye. That is not something you want. They may be good, but they're running people in and out of there, and you might not get the attention that you deserve when you're spending money on your eyes. The most important thing that, besides hearing and smelling, eyes are very important. So, so be careful with that if you're looking at doing the LASIK surgery. As I mentioned, doing the research, check the doctor's backgrounds. That's very, very important. You don't want to go and just into an office and just pick a doctor randomly by going in the yellow pages. You want to make sure you do your research on it. And the internet's a great source for that. Just make sure that you're looking up all of their background, like where they went to school, and if they do seminars on it, things like that. Once you decide to do LASIK, you're going to have to go through a consultation. And the consultation is probably one of the lengthiest things that you'll have to do through the LASIK procedure. The consultation actually would require you, if you wear your glasses all the time, or your contacts all the time, you actually have to take them out for 2 weeks prior to your consultation. And the reason for that is that your contacts actually change the shape of your eye or your cornea, and you have to be at your most natural phase for them to make correct measurements before you can have your surgery. So you have to keep them off. You have to wear your glasses. It can be a hindrance if you like your contacts. You don't like wearing your glasses, so it's nice to have your backup there, and you have to wear them in order for them to get the right measurements to allow for the correct. When they're doing it, this determines how much corneal tissue they actually have to take off from your eye. Yeah. So that is the exam is the most in-depth, and it's not uncomfortable, but they'll put eye drops in your eye, which will numb them a lot, makes your eye feel real heavy during the consultation. They'll do a lot of measurements. It's a lot of beeping and red lights and things like that, but for the most part, it's pretty simple. And this will also make everything very accurate for if you decide to actually follow through and go in for the procedure. The risks and benefits are also described to you at the consultation if you're a good candidate for the surgery, if they think that maybe you need to make a few changes before you do the surgery. Sometimes if people are wearing a hard lens, it actually affects the eye a lot more than a soft lens contact. So they actually have you waiting a lot longer to get the procedure because the shape of your eye needs longer to heal to get back to its natural state. They'll also discuss with you what you're going to need to do after, if you decide to do the procedure after the procedure. The wearing of the goggles, the eye drops that you're going to have to use all the time, everything. They'll go over all of that. And they do this so that you're informed before you're actually making the decision, so you have all this information in front of you. Now, once you decide if LASIK's the best thing for you, you're not allowed to use any creams, lotions. If you're a female, makeup. You can't use any perfumes. And this is to just protect your eye before the surgery. They want it as clean as possible. So You're not allowed to use any of that stuff. You have to arrange for a ride to the doctor, from the doctor, and then also the next day for your appointment, your follow-up appointment. Because your vision hasn't quite healed itself yet, and so you'll still be a little bit blurry and feel a little distorted. So once you get in for the surgery, they put numbing drops in, probably 4 different kinds of numbing drops. They put them in your eyes, and you just kind of sit there and you have to wait for them to take effect. Once the eye drops have taken effect, you actually go right into the operating room, and they put a hairnet on you. They lay you on the bed, and then you're laying down, and there's actually a machine that kind of goes over you, and they put a patch on one of your eyes, the one eye not being worked on, and there's little holes in that, and you have to keep that eye blinking the whole time. You can't shut it because it'll affect the other eye. And then they use the speculum to open this eye, and the speculum actually holds your lashes, or holds your eye wide open, and then they tape your lashes back. It sounds really crazy, but they tape your eyelashes back. You're still blinking, but your eyelashes aren't moving so that it's not interfering with the surgery. And so then he goes in, the doctor will go in and use the laser. And first you get the slice off here, which is where this part takes place. And then once he's got everything cleaned and taken off, the laser comes down, and this actually is a pulsating on your eye. That's what's actually correcting the vision on your eye, is the pulsating from the laser machine. It's reshaping the cornea using the pulses in the machine. Once that part is done, you switch over to the next eye, and through the whole process, the doctor is very, very informative about what's going to happen. There's a few times when your vision gets very blurry. It'll feel like you just have a big cloud of water on your eye. And then there's a point, actually 1 second, it's probably, I timed it about 1 second, where it's totally black. And he'll say it's going to be black for a minute, and you feel like you're going to be blind, but you're not. So there's no need to worry about that. But for the most part, the procedure is really quick. It's actually about 4.5, 5 seconds per diopter. So if we round up to 5 and you're at like a -6, it's only 30 seconds worth of time. They're actually in your eye. It's very, very quick. So the procedure is very quick, very painless. Probably the most uncomfortable, and not even that, it's not so much that you would not do the surgery, is when they put the suction on your eye, and that's just to create a hard surface for them to cut your eye. So after you're done with the surgery, you sit up. They put these really awesome ski goggle-like things on your face, and you have to actually wear those for the first 4 hours after surgery. Now, after surgery, you can almost see immediately. It's a little blurry, but you can pretty much see. When you don't have good vision and you can see, it's awesome. So you get up, you look, you see, and then your eyes kind of the numbing drops start to wear off, and they start to sting a little bit. They tell you to go home and sleep for 4 hours. They want you to sleep because then you won't feel that numbing medicine wearing off. So you go home, you sleep, you wake up, you start to see, it's a little blurry, but it starts to get better as the hours go on. And then you're supposed to wear those goggles every night before bed, and also apply, the drops that I was given were Xilex. That's an anti-inflammatory. You put that in your eye 4 to 5 times a day, followed by an artificial tear, and then you're to use that for the next 4 to 5 days as well. And then every day after that, you're going to use artificial tears probably for the rest of your life, because it's a feeling that you probably haven't really felt before, and that dry, irritating feel is something that you'll want to just moisten your eye and make it so it's easier to blink, because it doesn't feel very good when it's dry. But your vision will actually, once you get through all of this part, you'll go through a follow-up. Your first follow-up's the very next day. The second follow-up's the very week later, and then you'll go into 4 weeks, and then you'll go every month after that, so they can continually check your vision and what it's doing. You won't stabilize for about 3 to 6 months. So I'm actually in the first month. My 4-week appointment is on next Monday, and I'm already stabilized to 20/20 in both of my eyes. So, I mean, it works. It's really great. So if you guys are thinking about doing it and you ever want any information, I'd be happy to share it with you. But that's my speech on LASIK, and anybody have any questions? Okay,
Very
thanks.
informative.